the last couple of days, the offense maybe closing the gap a little bit on the defense now that the pads have come on?
Definitely. I feel like a lot of guys are just answering the call. You know, we understand every day is going to be different. Sometimes the defense brings the energy, sometimes we do. And our job is just to not only match that energy, but to exceed that. That's the expectation. So it's good to see guys answering that call.
Who are some of the guys specifically that you really saw today answer that call?
Shoot, I mean, Brock Bowers, he shows up every single day. You know, he does a lot of little things. The young guy, Dylan Laub, he's bringing a spark every time he gets the ball. You know, he's a very special guy. I think DJ Glaze as well. He's a guy, he really comes off the ball. I think that's something that we emphasize on offense is getting off. You know, everything starts up front. And he's a guy who he brings that same attention to detail every single day. So those are three young guys, you know what I'm saying? So anytime you got young guys who don't need to be coached to do that, I think you have a good team setting yourself up.
I don't know if you happened to see it. You might have been on the field when it happened, but Brock delivered a kind of a crackback block on Max Crosby. It was yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah, and
I didn't see it.
And it was just, I mean, he stuck his nose in his chest and laid the wood, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody wants to do that to Max. I think everybody does. You know, he's a guy who he brings the tempo and the energy every single day. And we want him to know that he's not the only one who's that confident in himself. He's a guy who also chirps a lot, talks a lot. And I think he does it to get the best out of his guys. And if you know Brock, he doesn't talk a lot, but he talks a lot with his pads. So
I was going to say that because for a rookie to not be afraid to go in there and say, all right, you know.
I mean, we have a rule. You know, you're a rookie when you're in meetings. You're a rookie when you're in a cafeteria. But when you step inside this rectangle, you know, you're not a rookie anymore. And he understands that.
You've made your name along special teams a lot over the years. How different is this kickoff rule, and how tough is it to adjust after the time you've been in the league to something so new?
It's really different. You know, it's a lot more based on timing. You know, timing is always the name of the game in football, but even more so with the new rules. I think Tom McMahon's doing a good job coaching it. So I would say our guys are picking it up pretty well.
There's a lot of knuckleball kicks that are coming you guys' way, and I don't know how you even prepare for that necessarily because it's something that's pretty much brand new to the whole thing. So how do you go about, because those balls are spinning and bouncing, and obviously you got to secure it. That's first and foremost.
I mean, we're still in reps all the time. You know, if we have a special teams period that doesn't involve some of the returners, we're out there getting catches, and that's what the game of football is in general. You know, just getting reps. You know, seeing it off the foot, off the tee, as many times as you can, so you can kind of get a beat on it, and then the rest of that is just, you know, God-given ability.
And the last time I talked to you, you're getting ready to do a movie.
Yeah.
How did it turn out?
It turned out well. We finished up shooting like 2 weeks ago. Should be coming out probably the next 5 or 6 months.
How was the experience getting in front of the camera now as an actor as opposed to just doing what you had been doing?
It was different. It was definitely different. But at the end of the day, I feel like I kind of was able to fall back on a lot of my training here in football. You know, keeping the main thing was my main reoccurring thought when I was on set. So it was a positive experience for me.
What do you want to see yourself accomplish personally by the end of camp?
Really just to become a leader, both vocally and just with my play. You know, I'm a guy, I've been around, I've been on a few teams. I've played a lot of football in my life. I think I understand the game pretty well. So just showing up for this team in any way that they ask me to, but really just having my best year in year 10. You know, I think I'm primed, I'm ready to do that.
Pads, obviously a small sample size, but do you feel that you guys improved anything or focused on something today from yesterday?
Yeah, just the fundamentals. Like I said a little bit earlier in this interview, getting off the ball is important, both defensively and offensively, and that a lot of times dictates the game, you know, especially in the run game. So just seeing the O-line roll off the ball with proper steps, proper pad level, it sets the tone, and then it's up for us backs to get the right reads and our quarterbacks to get the right drops and receivers to get the right depths on their routes. And I think anytime we turn on the film after we have practice and we see those guys getting off the ball with good, you know, pad level and good fundamentals, that's just encouraging each level of the game to improve that much more.
We've talked to a bunch of young guys who are introducing themselves to yoga, recovery methods, preventative methods. I know we've talked to you in the past about certain things that you do to keep the body right. Do you feel like it's that message is getting spread now among athletes? Like things that we thought might have been a little weird or whatever in the past are actually really beneficial to us?
Yeah, it always takes one, right? You know, we got a couple guys, you know, Max, myself, Robert Spillane, guys I always see doing things that are a little unconventional. And like I said a little bit earlier about the young guys, they're all sponges. none of them really bring in like an ego or a pride about themselves where they're like, maybe that's not for me. They're at least willing to try it first or ask what this is before they just knock it or just write it off. And I think that is infectious on the team. You see one guy who's successful, who's played a long time, a guy who's had a lot of Pro Bowls like Max, a lot of All-Pros like Max, doing the little things. It's like, well, I'm not too good to do it if Max is doing, or, Ameer's played a long time. Why shouldn't I hop in with him in the morning and do some things? So it's just really encouraging to see with our team, and it just feels different, and I'm really appreciative that, I'm back to be a Raider to witness it all.
Obviously, throughout your career, you've taken pride in being a returner, also being a gunner, and really just adding value to the special teams. How much pride do you also take now in learning these new rules and exceeding at them as well?
Man, it's funny. I feel like a dinosaur sometimes because I've seen so many different rule changes in the NFL. So I wear it as a badge of honor that I've survived through so many different reigns of football. And this is just the next one, and I think it's a good opportunity for returners, like you alluded to kind of step back out and have a pivotal influence on the game again. Growing up for me, it was guys like Dante Hall, the human joystick. It was guys like, Percy Harvin, guys like that who not only offensively or defensively, like a Devin Hester, where he ended up switching the receiver, who could really make an impact when the ball was kicked off or punted. And it's exciting to see, and I think the game needs it.
Been around some running back rooms when it comes to a guy like Dylan Labbe being a 6th-round pick from a small school. How unique is it that he's getting these first-team reps and kind of has faith from the offensive side of the things?
I think you said now it doesn't really matter where you get drafted. You see guys all the time get drafted 1st round to 7th round, specifically at the running back position, who can play ball. There's only so many guys who actually get drafted. So if you really think about it, he was one of the few guys who was selected to be talented enough to be drafted to a team. So I think there's an expectation first and foremost for himself to be great. And we see the team, the tape, we see what kind of attention to detail he brings every single day. So, for us as a running back group, we're not surprised. He's a guy who he's a listen first guy, talk, second guy. He's a guy who's going to finish, no matter if the rep is good or bad. And I think that's only setting himself up to have a good season, but also a good career. So,
You talked about the rookies and how they stood out on the field, but they're rookies when you're having lunch, breakfast, etc. How has that been socializing with them and that relationship?
Well, none of them can sing. That's one of our things. We try to get the rookies to get up and show a little personality, sing before meetings, and they're all god awful. So thank God they found football. For sure. Something they can do. They're kind of funny. They're a little funny, Sometimes they get the pity laugh just so they won't, feel awkward. But they're kind of funny. A couple of them are funny. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Saw you out there. You broke up that pass to Bowers. It was a nice play, and obviously you want to win every rep. But how do you balance that with actually just wanting to see your offensive teammates progress each day?
For me, it's just short-term memory. Win or loss, just got to get back up and go line up and go to the next play. But like you said, of course, you want your offensive guys to win. But when you're out there, it's all about winning on your side. So that's kind of my approach and my mentality towards one-on-ones and reps like that. So.
What were your overall thoughts on just today's practice?
It was good energy, like it is every day. We just come out trying to get 1% better each day. Offense had a better day today. We got to clean some stuff up in the film room on defense, but that's just how it is in training camp. One day offense might have it, the next day the defense might have it. So as long as we keep doing that, that means we're getting better each day. So.
What are some of those things that you want to clean up?
Just the little things, communication. Just making sure we execute, doing our fundamentals, doing our technique right, and we can clean all that up in the film room.
AP said something along the lines of everything you guys do defensively starts with the rapport you and Marcus have and your relationship back there. What really enabled you guys to fit so well on the field together right away last year?
I'd say just the thing, how we see each other. how we see each other fit in our schemes, how we see things on the offensive side. Just trying to provide that clarity, for the defense. So. When the pads start going on like they have been, we can provide that ease for them and make sure everybody's lined up doing their job.
Do you think you two get enough credit around the league for being one of the best safety duos in the league?
I don't think we're worried about that too much. I think we just try to go out there and just do our best every day, do our job and, everything else will come with that, with our play. So that's how we approach it.
You get a guy like Gardner who's new to the team and system. Felt like he was maybe his most comfortable today. Did you guys kind of sense that on the other side of the ball with him?
Yeah, I think, both him and Aiden, will have days like that. I can't really speak on too much of what they're talking about on that side of the ball, but, he did complete some passes today, so it's good to see.
Tre'von, as a safety, you match up a lot of times against tight ends. What are your impressions of not just Brock Bowers, but Michael Mayer?
Oh, man, they're both, big guys, physical, have really great, route running ability. And especially just seeing Michael year two, he stepped it up. You can see just how he is with how he catches the ball, how he runs his routes, definitely improved. So it's exciting to see that. And then Brock, just, coming from the draft and coming from where he's come from, he's had that ability all along. So, hopefully he can continue to keep doing the things he's been doing. So.
Yesterday, Coach Pierce had a quote where he said, when he first got to the team, the secondary kind of felt like independent contractors, and now the chemistry is there. Can you just talk about, in your opinion, the huge differences you've seen in the secondary from the time PG's taken over to now?
Yeah, I'd say, just piggyback on what I've said before, is just the energy. Like I said before, we want to come in and just dominate. Whether that be our offense or whatever team we play, we just want to come in and do our job. And as our coaches say, have varsity on varsity ball. Our best against their best. We're going to come out every time, so on top.
We saw AP challenging people sometimes during practice, challenging the defense. What does that do for you when you hear him, call that out?
When you say one more time.
I noticed a couple times during practice, AP would sort of call out the defense, challenge the defense to step up. What does that do? As him being a former linebacker himself, what does that do for you when he kind of challenges?
For me, it's like I said before, it's just kind of easing the defense, making sure hey, let's line up, everybody do their technique and fundamental, and just I would say just play more relaxed and not be so oh we got to do this, we got to do that. No, we just got to take a deep breath, just do what we've been coached to do, and that'll take turn into the play.
Well, on the flip side of the tight end question, what makes Devontae so unique and so hard to cover?
And he's been doing that since he got into the league. He's just deceptive, great hands, man, good route running. He's just somebody you got to have your eye on, especially as a safety. 24/7, because the ball can go to him anytime, and he, as y'all seen before, he makes plenty of plays. So,
how hard is it to defend his late hands?
I haven't had any chance to do one-on-ones, but just have him shoot his hands late like that. It's hard as a DB to get a tell on when the ball's coming. So you just gotta play into his hands as best you can. Even if they're late.
Let the corners deal with that.
Yeah, I'll let the corner deal with that. Yeah, I'll break into the middle of the field or something.
I could be interpreting you wrong, but it seems like you're kind of annoyed the offense had some success today. Is that the standard you guys are at, that you don't want them to ever win any reps?
Right, yeah, for defense, that's just how we talk. We want to win everything we do. But at the same time, it is good to see the offense do their thing, because we all are Raiders. So, but when we get back in that field room, I'm sure, some guys will be bummed out to have some plays back, so.
AP mentioned that the idea of coming to Costa Mesa was to build this brotherhood and have a unity. Some of your teammates have talked about how they've had an opportunity to meet those even on the other side that they normally don't talk to. Have you had an opportunity to do any of that?
Yeah, for sure. Especially, me and Marcus talk about it a bunch of times, going to quarterbacks, asking what they see from us, any tells that we give them, what we're doing well that they see. We being here, we have time to be with each other 24/7. So we find time, whether we're eating dinner, passing by through the elevators, just to ask questions on the opposite side of the ball. Thank you.
Dan's on the way. Exactly.
Tom said earlier, when you have to make a tackle, you will. How confident are you in your tackling ability?
I just got some extra bicep curls in there during our jail yard workout over there at the high school gym. So, yeah, hey, I play football too, and luckily I'm a pretty big guy, 6'5", and when I'm lifted to that, depends on how much I'm eating. But, we gotta work it a little more. It might happen a little more than usual. Nobody really knows what this kickoff return is going to look like. So, we're eager to see it in live action and in the preseason games and find out kind of what it is.
How was today, just in general, for you and your group?
It's great. Actually, Jacob Bobbmeyer just had a little baby yesterday, so they're away in Vegas and enjoying some family time, but he'll be back tomorrow. So we had some backup snappers going today, so guys are stepping in, and it's great. I mean, we have an awesome setup, beautiful weather every day out here, so we're just really thankful to be out here and getting to work again with the guys.
How fun or how different is it then to actually work on like onside kicks, albeit 50 yards down the field?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. It's not something you kind of, think you're going to have to do at this point in your career where all of a sudden there's new rules. And I mean, just last week they changed the rule that, something that I was working on all off season, all of a sudden you can't do. So, I mean, we're learning on the fly and you're kind of having to be creative about it. And I mean, each week I feel like we're going to see different teams doing different things, and just like offensive defenses are doing, you're adapting different game plans sometimes when you see something that works well.
What did they change?
You can't lay the ball flat on the tee anymore, so it has to be vertical on the tee. It has to be kind of in the cup, and so yeah, they're making different rules as we go. Kind of, we're figuring out different loopholes, and they're trying to make some different rules. But I mean, at the end of the day, like. Yeah, we're going to see what it looks like in preseason. And, I mean, like you said, you got to adapt as you go. This is first season doing this, so we'll see how it goes.
Are you working on your tackling?
Yeah. So I got a couple reps at the end of practice. And, I mean, it's something that, unfortunately I've had to do a couple times throughout my career. Hopefully I'm not the one making the play very often. It's usually not a good sign. But, just with the new kickoff rule, there's definitely a greater possibility I'm going to be in certain plays possibly. And, there's different things we can do scheme-wise to hopefully avoid that some. But, I mean, hey, if I got to make the play, I got to make the play. And like I said, just continuing to work that and get better at that.
Will you pay more attention to other preseason games, maybe cut ups on what other teams are doing than you normally would because of this stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and we've talked about it a lot. I mean, just different teams are going to do different things. And, there's always going to be one or two things that are, someone keeps a secret until probably game number one. So, we're kind of scouting it out, and everybody else across the league is doing the same. But, I mean, eventually you're going to have to show whatever secrets you might think you have. But, I mean, I think at this point all the kickers probably have tried just about everything. So, there's certain things that work, and there's certain things that we've worked on, and just it's not worth the risk of whether it's kicking it short and, them the offense starting at the 40-yard line. That's a big play, obviously, for an offense.
How different? Go ahead.
Are you looking for secrets with your brother or any other kicker around?
I mean, yeah, like, us kickers, we always work together in the offseason a lot, whether it's my brother, whether it's other kickers that I've known, just through years. So there's a bit of, hey, we're not going to work this because, obviously you don't want to give away your team's, kind of secrets. But at the same time, I mean, some of it we're going to see in the preseason so early on. And, I mean, you have to work it as well in the offseason. So, there's rumors going around, and like I said, there's been certain kicks that guys I know have been working on, and all of a sudden they make a rule change. So, that's just how it might go, and we'll see what the final product is from the NFL probably after preseason.
How well do you think that Coach McMahon has really been able to get you and AJ up to full speed with the rule changes and really hone it down for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been really fun. Obviously he's coached a long time, and this is something new for him as well. So he hit the ground running, and we've gotten through OTAs and now camp. We've gotten tons of reps. I mean, because another part is the returners. It's something new for them. They're going to catch different balls instead of the hang time. They're going to have line drives, balls that are bouncing, and it's that much more important that they catch it on the fly. So it's a different game for them. It's a different game for our coverage or our blocking schemes. So I mean, it's really about how quickly can we adapt, and just it's the same thing in season. There's always changes you to make, and it's how fast can you adapt to get it in the game plan.
I would assume that if you're kicking for distance, just regular kickoffs is kind of a similar leg swing motion than extra points and field goals. How different is the leg swing now going to be, and how often? I mean, how do you have to kind of compartmentalize that?
Yeah, there's different. I mean, depends what you want to kick, but obviously, that's one thing I was concerned early on was like I don't want to create a bad habits that essentially trickle into my field goal kicking where I'm hitting line drive field goals all of a sudden. So, but I've always done kickoffs, and kickoffs were slightly different than field goals anyways. So it is about compartmentalizing, and every other kicker is dealing with it too. So, you just got to learn how to adapt.
Obviously, one of the possibilities some teams have expressed is somebody else kicking, some defensive players. Some guys on your team have tried it.
Yeah.
How would you kind of rank some of the guys that have been trying?
A lot of good effort. Some guys have been cut. Some guys are doing a really good job. I mean, they're great athletes. It's just them asking me questions on like how to kick. I'm like, played 10 years of soccer, and then that usually helps. But I mean, it's if we can get some athletes, and I mean, there's other guys that are doing it across the league. Obviously, that's definitely a possibility. And like I said, there's no telling if that's going to actually work, and that's worth doing it if the kick's less accurate or whatever it is. But right now, kind of everything's fair play because we just don't know kind of what it's going to turn into in a few months.
Did you ever think you'd be helping rookie safeties learn how to kick after practice like you were today?
No, that was it. That was a new one. So I mean, hopefully I'm able to teach them something. And I mean, it's not a competition for me necessarily because I do think it's such a unique thing that if I end up, being in on so many plays, or if there's a way for the kicker to have an advantage because I'm the only one that gets really a running start. Now I can't cross the 50 until the ball's caught or bounces. But if there's a way to time that up with, whoever it may be that's a little faster, more athletic than me, I'm all for that because, I just want to win football games at this point.
I think most athletes in any sport, especially football, would be furious if somebody was trying to take one of their duties, right? I mean, you seem cool with it.
Yeah, it's different. I think if, it was another kicker or even AJ sometimes try to take it. But, I mean, like I said, there's just obviously certain things that, they're better at me than, coverage and stuff. And so if that's an advantage that we can take advantage of, I'm all for it.
You mentioned someone that you cut and why you cut him?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put.
We haven't talked to you since the Battle for Vegas. How devastating of a loss was that?
What's that?
The Battle for Vegas?
Yeah.
The loss, how devastating was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. We obviously those hockey guys are pretty good at, hand-eye coordination with, whether it's a stick and a puck or a baseball bat and a softball. They're pretty good at that. So, I've gotten better. That was my second time ever playing baseball/softball. So hit 9 home runs throughout the course. I mean, pretty good. I'm getting there. So it was fun, and it's just a fun event for the community, obviously.
Daniel, how great is it for you to spend time with everyone in a place, because you don't get to socialize with many other groups. So now you get that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, especially as specialists, there's not as much crossover in meetings and stuff. We're kind of in our own world on the practice field a lot of times. But it just gives us a chance to, whether it's lunch, dinner time, whenever we have breaks, to just break a little bread and just hang out with some guys, get to know the younger guys, the new guys, whatever it is. And I think that's just such a valuable thing going into the season. Obviously, there's so many ups and downs, and that brotherhood, building that foundation early on, getting to know each other, just helps you later on in the season when you're going through, whether it's the good or the bad.
You mentioned the younger guys. We heard earlier you guys had them sing. Can you give us an unbiased opinion of any good singers?
Yeah, we've had some. It's been tough. Some of the guys are doing it 8 a.m. right at first meeting. I mean, my coffee's not even kicked in yet, so I might be a little tougher critic at that time than the evening meetings when everybody's kind of relaxed and having a little more fun. But each year, I mean, some rookies step up, some don't. So that's just how it goes.
How many different kicks would you estimate you have in your repertoire right now?
I mean, that I would bring into a game is different than what I'm working on. I mean, right now I'm working on, like I said, everything's kind of fair game. I mean, it's just some of it's trial by error. Some of it was a kick I really felt like I had down a little bit and was like ready to use in a game. And then all of a sudden that one rule change goes, and thanks. Now I've wasted 10 hours of my life working on this one kick and don't get that back. But I mean, just trying to figure out, which ones can I count on in the game? And, after a high pressure situation, whatever it may be, where like, hey, it's unacceptable to kick it short of the 20 and give the offense the 40-yard drive start.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Hello.
So Daniel says you're trying to take his kickoff job. There's some bad blood up in there.
No, it's not bad blood, but if you heard about player performance, you get paid per play out here, so I'm trying to get in the game.
He did say he'd be fine if a defensive player took his kickoff job, but not if you took it.
Really? Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. me and him have the most healthy and fun of rivalries of all time. So I think that just the ego in him couldn't handle that, but it's all in good fun.
AJ, how has camp been for you just in general so far?
Yeah, camp's been great. I mean, they say in California you pay for the weather, but we're just renting it for a little bit here. It's been like 76 and sunny every single day, so we're walking around in flip-flops and shorts and t-shirt, and it's been good. It's been a really great experience, just being in Costa Mesa. I think getting away is really valuable for team bonding. You find yourself when you're home, you guys kind of finish and they sort of rush out of the building a little bit to get home and to see their family and all that. And here we're kind of on our own. So I found that players are spending more time like in the cafeteria, chit-chatting at the table. And I think that's good. I think that builds bonds and builds relationships. And ultimately, I'm a big vibes guy. So I think that the team that's the closest wins the most games. And I think it's a really important factor.
Conversation about the rookies singing here today. Who's bringing the good vibes and the good vocals?
I mean, to be honest, it's been absolutely pitiful so far. Some of it's not their fault. It's happening in an 8 a.m. meeting sometimes. And I mean, you're still on maybe your first half cup of coffee at the time. You only got like 50 milligrams of caffeine in your system, and people aren't really warmed up to it. So it's a tough, stale environment. But I'd like to see more from them, to be honest. I'd like to see a little bit more enthusiasm. There's a couple keys you got to know up there. You can't be scared when you're up there for the rookie show. You got to go up there confident. They can smell blood in the water. It's a bunch of sharks in that room. So if you show a little bit of fear, everybody's going to boo, start pouncing on you. And then you got to know the first word of the song. Everybody's like, I know the song. And they get up there, and then the lights are bright, and then all of a sudden everything goes a little bit sideways. So you got to know the first word of the song. That's a coaching point to all the rookies. But it's been pretty pitiful. We're hoping to get some skits maybe when we get back to Vegas.
Do you recall your rookie moment? Did you have one of those?
The rookie shows that we had were on Hard Knocks, and at a certain point, someone got tired of seeing the rookies sing, so the rookie shows got cut short my year. But everybody remembers Max's and Hunter Renfro's, so those are the ones that my rookie class can claim.
Do you think the struggles are talent or song choice?
That's a good question. I mean, there's certainly no talent. Talent is a gigantic issue, to be sure, but I've seen some killer rookie performances from people with no talent. So, like I said, you got to go up there with a little bit of presence, control the stage. I think Dylan Laube probably has the best performance so far. He had the most commanding presence, but the talent is nowhere to be seen.
What did he say?
It was that good that I don't even remember.
Well, I mean, you mentioned them doing some skits and stuff like that, and you're coaching them on singing. You're going to help them with the comedy aspect of that. And who's already kind of got some chops?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely some skits in the works that I probably have my fingers on. As an older guy on the team, it's sort of one of our jobs to sort of coach the rookies and getting through your rookie performances and getting through your rookie duties. During the season, we'll have these guys out here dancing before practice on Fridays, and just coaching them through those aspects is just as important as coaching them through anything else. So we've got some things in the works, and these are things that you'll never hear about, but they're going to be incredible behind closed doors.
AJ, you mentioned building relationships with rookies and other players. Can you mention one that you have built like throughout these days, or just something that has made your team stronger by being able to spend these days together?
Yeah, I mean, I just think the dinner table conversations, we're getting done with our team meeting right around 7 o'clock, and then there's the food right there, and I've seen them more and more guys are using that time as an opportunity to sort of build those bonds. And it to be honest, it just makes the job a little bit more fun when you have friends in the building. And, there's been a lot of turnover here the past couple of years. And I think this rookie class is going to be really good for us. And so getting to know those guys, especially in my position too, because a lot of times, the rookies are the guys that are playing special teams with you. And those are the guys, their first start is, playing on the punt team, playing on the kickoff team. So I think it's important for me to have a good relationship with them. I just think that the breakfast, lunch, and dinner table is where the magic happens.
Are the drop kicks legal on the kickoff?
I sure hope so.
That's something you can do? And
yes.
Some possibility, it's a possibility you could do that in a game. It's not just after a safety.
No, I don't think you can. No, actually, they did change the rules, so you can do it after a safety now. But you used to not be able to do it after safety. It used to have to be a punt. But yeah, it is a legal kickoff. A couple teams have done it in the past. Seattle's done it in the past, and then I think maybe the Giants have done it in the past as well. Some teams have done it for their onside kicks as well, but it is legal.
Daniel said he's been working on his tackling. Have you?
I don't. Has he?
That's what he said.
It must be in his room late at night. He's got some pillows set up on his bed, and he's like jumping on the bed like a little kid and rolling over it. But I've seen no tackling drills. So that's fiction. You guys are out of practice. Have you seen him tackling? Is everybody's backs closed when he's doing his tackling drills?
The coach said he did some tackling drills too.
Okay. Yeah, he does tackling drills. Yeah.
All right, you guys good?
I just want to ask you a totally random question. This off season, you had an opportunity to support your wife while she was a professional a volleyball player. How was that experience for you?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was fun for us to kind of do a little bit of a role reversal and me put myself in her shoes, like going through like night before the game. Like, you know, is there some things it's like, oh, like how much am I supposed to like talk to you? Like, do you want to just kind of like go into your own little world and like on game day, like should I, you know, there's just a lot of stuff that we kind of got to see the other side a little bit. So I think it was an incredible experience. Obviously, we were down in San Diego for most of it, but she did get to have a game in Vegas, which was super cool. And yeah, I think it was a cool experience for us. Just for me to be able to support her. She comes to so many of my things. She's at practice today. She comes to all my games, and it means the world to me. So I think that me being able to support her and what she's trying to do and what she's trying to accomplish was a lot of fun. And it was cool to just take the pads off and be a cheerleader for a little bit. I really had fun doing it.
Did you stress about your outfits? Did you plan your game day outfits?
Probably not as much as she stresses about her outfits, but there wasn't no stress. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.